I know you gave a lot. I am genuinely grateful. And I am still making this decision. My loyalty to you does not require me to abandon my own judgment. Real loyalty works both ways. Is this guilt telling me I caused real harm? Or is it telling me I did something that threatened someone's control over me? They never threatened you. They never raised their voice. They just looked at you a certain way, and suddenly you were doing exactly what they wanted. That look, that silence, that one sentence about everything they have done for you, that is not love. That is a weapon, and it has been used on you more times than you have counted. This video names the 3 ways people weaponize guilt to control you, and gives you the exact response that shuts all 3 down permanently. How guilt becomes a control mechanism. Guilt is not inherently manipulative. Genuine guilt, the kind that arises when you have actually caused harm, is a healthy signal. It tells you something needs to be repaired. But weaponized guilt has nothing to do with actual harm. It is guilt manufactured and deployed strategically to produce compliance. Dr. George Simon's research on covert manipulation identifies guilt induction as one of the most effective control tools available, precisely because it bypasses rational evaluation entirely. When you feel guilty, you do not ask whether the guilt is justified. You just feel it, and the feeling drives behavior before your mind has had a chance to examine whether the feeling is earned. The 3 ways below are the specific delivery mechanisms. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Way 1. The sacrifice reminder. They helped you. They gave something. They were there when nobody else was. And they never let you forget it. Not through constant explicit reminders, that would be too obvious. Through subtle references at the exact moment you are asserting independence. A reference to how much they gave up. A quiet mention of what things were like before they stepped in. The sacrifice reminder is not about the past. It is about the present. It is deployed specifically when you are about to do something that threatens their control over you. And its only purpose is to make you feel that your independence is a form of ingratitude. The counter. Name what you hear without attacking them. Say this: gratitude and compliance are not the same thing. That sentence separates them permanently. Way 2. The disappointment signal. This one never says anything directly. They do not tell you that you did something wrong. They show you, through a look, through a silence, through a shift in their energy, that you have disappointed them. And then they wait. The disappointment signal is more powerful than direct accusation because it cannot be argued with. There is nothing to defend against. Just a feeling in the room that you caused it, and the only way to make it stop is to change what you did. This is what psychologists call ambient pressure, control exercised not through explicit demands but through emotional atmosphere that makes compliance feel like the only way to restore comfort. The counter: do not chase the restoration. Sit inside the discomfort without moving toward it. Say nothing. Wait. The signal only has power while you are running from it. The moment you stop running, it loses its mechanism. Way 3. The loyalty test. They frame your independence as a betrayal of the relationship. Not directly, through implication. If you really cared about this relationship, you would not do that. A real friend would understand. I thought we were closer than this. This reframes every act of independence as an act of disloyalty. And loyalty, real loyalty, is something most people will sacrifice almost anything to protect, including their own freedom. Ibn Qayyim wrote about the soul that has been made to feel its own freedom is a form of selfishness, that it has been conditioned to see its own needs as threats to the people it loves. This conditioning is the deepest form of control because the person enforces it on themselves. The counter: redefine loyalty out loud and directly. Say it once, clearly, then hold it regardless of the response. Identity line. If you are still watching, at least one of those 3 just described someone specific in your life. You already knew something was wrong. You just needed the language to name it precisely. Now you have it. The one response that ends all 3. Underneath all three ways, one mechanism is running. They need your discomfort to produce your compliance. The guilt only works while you are trying to make it stop. The one response that ends all three is the same. You feel the guilt and you do not move toward relieving it immediately. Not forever. Not as punishment. Just long enough to ask one question. If the answer is real harm, address it. If the answer is threatened control, hold your position. The guilt will pass. Your judgment will remain. Close. 3 ways. 1 mechanism. 1 question that separates real guilt from manufactured control. The sacrifice reminder. The disappointment signal. The loyalty test. None of them have power over someone who has learned to sit inside discomfort long enough to ask whether the discomfort is earned. You now know the difference. And knowing the difference is the end of the weapon. Subscribe, because next week we give you the next weapon.